Hello everyone from the news section of the Pioneer's Daily Map Report. In a moment, we will examine the latest developments in the Russia-Ukraine war together with the map. According to the latest reports, the Ukrainian army is continuing its counteroffensive operations in at least 3 sectors of the front line. The situation is also progressing in the favor of the Ukrainian army on the Bakhmut front line. According to the latest reports, the counteroffensive operations of the Ukrainian army have been concentrated in the Zaporizhia region of the front line. Ukrainian troops in the region are carrying out an offensive from different areas to surrendered Russian troops. The Russian defense line is almost overcome. Only Russian artillery is slowing down the Ukrainian army a little. So what is the latest situation on the front line? Let's take a look at the current arrivals together. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss the map reports and daily reports of the Pioneer team. As you can also support me and my team by using the Super Thanks button located at the bottom of the video. If you're ready, let's start. The Pioneer reports. We were just talking about the Zaporizhia front line. Therefore, let's start our report with the Zaporizhia front line. Let's first view the Zaporizhia front line on the map. Starting from the Verbove section, we will move to the north. You know Novoprokopivka, which is located south of Verbove section. As you know, there is a line between Novoprokopivka and Verbove. The Ukrainian army is trying to cross this line. According to the latest reports, the Ukrainian army is trying to surrender the Russian troops here. Now there was also a Kopani district here. As you know, Ukrainian artillery units were constantly hitting Russian positions in the region. According to the latest reports, the Ukrainian armed forces are trying to expand the front line here. We have already mentioned the efforts of the Ukrainian armed forces to expand this front line. This strategy of the Ukrainian army was quite successful. Now, the Ukrainian troops are trying to make a move that will expand the front line in Kopani region. Ukrainian troops stationed in the region and the Verbove sectors are trying to encircle the Kopani region from a wide angle. The goal of the Ukrainian troops here is to suppress the strength of the Russian troops by expanding the front line. There is a Russian military presence, especially clustered around Verbove. The Russian cluster here is slowing down the Ukrainian army's advance. By expanding the front line like this, the Ukrainian army is trying to ensure the spread of the Russian army. If the Ukrainian army succeeds in this strategy, the defense line of the Russian troops will be thinned. In particular, the fact that the strategy of the Ukrainian army is to spread out Russian troops hinders a collective Russian defense. When we look at the Ukrainian army from this point of view, we can say that it has come very close to Melitopol and Tokmak targets. According to the latest reports, there is a distance of about 2.5 kilometers between the second line of the defense of the Russian army and the Ukrainian army. We can say that this 2.5 kilometers distance will disappear in the coming days. According to the latest reports, clashes are taking place between Ukrainian artillery units and Russian artillery units. Russian artillery units are hitting Ukrainian positions in Verbove and Malaya Tokmachka. However, Ukrainian artillery units continue to hit Russian positions south of Kopani, Ichenko, and Novoprokopivka. The Zaporizhian front line has almost turned into a life-and-death battle. Here, both armies continue to fight with an all-or-nothing motivation. Now let's continue our report with the Wuhldar section of the Zaporizhia front line. There was a silence here for a long time. We have also mentioned this situation in our previous reports. Activity here started again in the Wuhldar part of the Zaporizhia front line. In recent days, Russian troops have launched an offensive in the Ukrainian region with the support of the Russian Air Force. The attacks of the Russian Air Force were quite severe. However, the defense force of the Ukrainian troops in the region is protecting its positions. Russian troops mobilized after the attack of the Russian Air Force and went to the offensive of the Ukrainian region. The defense forces of the Ukrainian armed forces managed to repel this attack of the Russian army. Later, the Russian Air Force attacked the Ukrainian positions in Stromoyorsk, but they did not get results. Here, Ukrainian troops have fully established control over their areas of dominance. Therefore, it seems that unlikely that the Russian troops will attack again and capture Yorkhin and Stromoyorsk. In addition, the Ukrainian army expanded the front line here in the direction of Novomyrsk and Novodonetsk, allowing the spread of Russian troops. Thanks to this, both the Russian defense forces and the Russian offensive forces were greatly fragmented. Therefore, the expansion strategy of the Ukrainian army has also been successful here. We see that artillery units are also active in the Wilder part of the Zaporizhian front line. According to the latest reports, Russian artillery units hit Ukrainian troops in Yorkhain and Stromoyorsk. On the other hand, Ukrainian artillery units hit Russian positions in Kermenchik, Priyotny, Zaporizhia, and Stromoylinkov. Now let's continue our report by examining the latest situation on the Donetsk front line. As you know, the Russian army has continued to carry out its attacks, which have been a tradition in this region for a long time. You can guess where this point is. Yes, you guessed it right. Russian troops continued their offensive in the direction of Marinka today. However, the Ukrainian defense forces in the region managed to repel the attacks of the Russian troops. The situation in the region is as stable as possible. Now let's continue with the Bakhmut front line. Let's start to see the Bakhmut front line on the map. As you know, the Ukrainian army has captured Andreevka and Klishchivka on the southern flanks of the city center of Bakhmut. After a long time, the Ukrainian army sent a message that with this success, the city center of Bakhmut will be liberated. According to the latest reports, Ukrainian troops are attacking Russian positions near the railway line located east of Andreevka. No progress has been made so far. However, the latest reports shows us that the Russian troops in the region suffered heavy losses during the recent attacks of the Ukrainian army. To the south of the city center of Bakhmut, the situation is currently in favor of the Ukrainian army. We anticipate that the Ukrainian army will advance further in this region in the coming days. In addition, the progress in this region will also lead to a change in the situation of the city center of Bakhmut. There are also some reports of new developments in the Bakhmut north wings. However, I cannot pass it on to you because these reports have not yet been confirmed. But I predict that the north of Bakhmut will also become quite active in the coming days. And what do you think? Do you think that the Ukrainian army's advance will continue on the Zaporizhia front line? How do you interpret the efforts of the Ukrainian army to expand the front line? Do you think this strategy has been successful? What do you think about the latest developments on the Bakhmut front line? Mention it in the comments. I'm reading and caring about all your comments.